Hello and welcome to a new episode of Werewolf in London. Yay! So it's been a long time since we caught up with our werewolf refugees in London. The nascent pack has been sheltering at a recently recently bought warehouse. It used to be a Toys R Us warehouse that the Glasswalkers bought out when the company went under, and they've been using it as a safe house since the Sept fell. So inside, it's there's still like rows of like merchandise and stuff, but there's several areas where a half the inner center portion of like a aisle has been taken out and moved somewhere else to make like room for like beds and stuff. It's mainly like the area in the center that's had this done to it. The center of the warehouse, all the stuff towards like the outer edges are still stocked with merchandise. Everything that's been worm tainted was already destroyed or cleansed. And yeah, you guys have a little bit of free time, so go ahead and interact.
I swear, I heard a rumor that they missed a Tickle Me Elmo doll in here.
Is that really our main concern?
Tickle Me Elmo. I don't want to know.
You really don't. They're very annoying things.
Ash is kind of sitting there, like, looking around at all the strange toys on the shelves. I don't understand. I really don't. People play with these.
No, it could be worse. It could be Furbies.
This is true. These are little playthings for children mostly. Just something for them to have fun with, work off energy.
They're rather scary. I am quite certain I would rather run into a Fumori than these.
I was once inside one of these places at night, and they had just a huge, almost entire row filled with Furbies, and they all went off at once.
That sounds terrifying.
It kind of actually was, yeah.
I had the mission in a toy factory once where they Bane possessed some of these toys. It was not a good day. For the first time, everyone will see Arlette actually kind of shudder at the memory of something.
I agree. That does not sound like a good day. She's kind of like looking around at these toys, like just a creeped out look in her eyes as they shift around, and she's in her breed form, being as it's a Garou safe house, and her ears kind of go back.
These ones have all been cleansed. They should be fine.
I hope so.
So what's new?
So I have passed my rank challenge. That is an accomplishment.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's good. I got into a fight with a giant metal thing that they called a Valkyrie. Turned into a statue werewolf or Garou. Yeah. Got the shit beat out of me.
Shit, sounds like I missed some fun.
But I'm here.
Is that this good?
I'm getting close to making a run at a rank challenge myself.
As am I.
Everybody, roll me a perception alertness roll, please.
You can't tell me what to do, Dad.
What sense?
Hearing.
Hearing? Okay.
Said hearing. Yeah, you just said that. What's the difficulty, my dude?
Standard.
I am completely deaf, apparently. Just a
Hey,
straight.
Arlette's not, though. She got 5 successes.
I just straight failed.
You hear the last tickle me elbow going off in the background, and it pisses you off so much.
Rage roll!
Damn it, Tiger. Stop stealing my ideas.
What did I do wrong?
And when that happens, everybody needed to make a rage roll. Nah, screw it. Everybody fails their rage rolls.
You're just that slow?
Oh no, Holly, you got -2 successes. You rolled 3 ones.
Oh no!
You didn't botch though because you got an 8.
Right?
So both.
All
right. So Stone and Bones and Forged by Fire are too busy just chatting away to hear this. But Arlette kind of drifts back from the conversation, but thinking over her the memory that made her shudder earlier, and she hears very, very faintly, but she can hear it clearly, even though it's really faint. This song. She can't quite understand the lyrics, but there's like this little song in the background.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
There's a song somewhere in here.
Can we make another attempt to hear it?
Go ahead. That is the blue booking section, not character sheets.
I totally forgot that I'm in lupus. Okay.
I got 2 successes this time.
Okay. Lupus is a -2 to perception difficulties, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Not that it mattered in that roll anyway.
Oh, wait, what?
If you're in lupus.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll try this again with the proper way. Lupus bonus here because I'm lupus. Woohoo! A lot of good it did me. 1.
All right, so both of you hear it this time. You guys can't quite get a key on where it's coming from, but Arlette could very clearly tell that it was coming from what would be from the street side of the warehouse, the back entrance towards where the alleyway is.
I'm grabbing my guitar case.
Let's
sniffing around and listening and
Arlette's gonna start leading the way towards it.
Yeah,
Alright.
following.
as is often.
All right. So as you guys walk through the safe house, the few other grew in there kind of give you guys some weird looks, but nobody really says anything. And you guys reach the back door. There's nothing at the back door.
Did I still hear the song?
Very faintly. It seems to be getting quieter.
Is there an alarm on the door? If we open it, is it gonna go off?
No.
Arlette's gonna open the door and see if the song gets louder.
All right. So when she opens the door, instead of the alleyway, she sees this.
It would seem we're not in London anymore.
Ash kind of peeks. Those do not look streets to me.
Well, either we're not in London or somebody did a really, really good job of redecorating.
What do you guys do?
Ash is going to poke her nose out the door and sniff. Like, does it smell fresh? Does it still smell like...
So, when Ash pokes her head out, sniffs, make me a stamina check, please.
I'm assuming tireless doesn't count here.
No, it would not.
I don't think so. One success.
All right, so she manages to kind of keep her head around her as this like this super intense smell hits her, and it takes her a few seconds to realize what the smell is. This air is so clean and so fresh that it actually like stunned her because she was not expecting it.
I'm glad I didn't have heightened senses activated.
Like, this air is cleaner than she's ever smelled before.
She kind of like stops for a minute. That's wonderful.
We'll step on out as well.
Yeah. Step through.
Yep.
So, the moment that you guys step through, the door swings shut and disappears behind you.
I guess we are not going to a strange toy place.
No, definitely not.
This kind of looks like the label to the Everclear water bottle, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe not.
I don't know what that means.
Can I do an intelligence umbrella check to try and get an idea of where we're at?
Go for it.
What's my dex?
Difficulty would be 8. This isn't a standard. This isn't a standard like Umbral realm that Guru go to.
I botched.
Wait, did you
I will
botch?
do it too. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So Arletta's convinced they just stepped into Pangea, and she's heard stories. She's fairly convinced that they're going to meet a T-Rex at any moment now.
I'm gonna do because I have Umbrelore. I have nothing, so it's better than a botch, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got nothing. It's not a botch. It's a 1 and a 9.
I just have
And a
0.
4.
All right, so nobody knows where you guys are, other than Arlette, who knows it's Pangea. Go ahead.
Be on the lookout for very large things.
What do you mean, very large things?
Dinosaurs, T-Rexes.
Is it at least clear that we're in the Umbra, Joey?
You mean
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
You mean like non-fire breathing dragons?
We
Ash kind of just starts looking up at the sky, looking around.
Are we going to have to run towards a wall again? He looks over her head.
I hope not. I make no promises.
So as you guys are standing there, make me another perception alertness roll, please.
Which sense?
Eyesight.
Ooh. What time of day is it?
It is daytime, like in the picture.
Okay.
4 success.
4 successes?
Yeah.
Holy crap on the 10s.
Whoa! Yeah.
Would eyes in the back of my head specialty count in this case?
I'm gonna say not in this specific case.
Still got still got 4 successes.
The
All right,
tens
so
are rolling with us.
everybody got 4 successes. So as you guys kind of look around, you notice far off, if you look on the left of this picture, in that forested area, right past where the picture cuts off, there's a tower spiraling into the air. That's as high as the mountains next to it. And that's the only sign of habitation that you guys see anywhere around you.
A giant tower doesn't really fit with Pangea, does it? Out of character, I honestly have no idea.
Not really, given that Pangea is the primordial earth.
Okay. So I was just kind of looking at that kind of oddly. I may have been wrong about where we're at. But still be on the lookout for dinosaurs.
Okay.
Okay.
So where the hell are we then?
I do not know. But I think our best bet at this point is to get to that tower.
Yes, ask to borrow a cup of sugar and directions back home.
Sweet.
All right, so you guys heading for the tower?
Yeah.
I hope. I hope.
Okay. So everybody make me stamina roll.
Oh, God.
Does tireless count in this case?
Yes, it does.
Is it
I
standard?
have to remember my lupus stamina bonus, so I don't keep forgetting all of my lupus stuff.
Difficulty is standard, Tiger.
Cool. I got 4 successes because I have tireless.
So I keep forgetting. There we go. I will not forget my was again.
All right, 3 successes, 4 successes.
6 dice. And you said it was standard diff?
Yes, standard difficulty.
Dang it. Okay, yeah, this one I have 4 successes.
All right, so as you guys walk, you realize you're not making nearly as good ground as you thought you would. Like, no matter, you guys are walking for, you swear, like 2 hours straight, and you're no closer to the tower than you were before. And you guys walk for another hour, and you're still no closer to the tower than you were before. And then all of a sudden, you guys are standing right in front of it. Like, just from 0 to 100. You guys went from at the crest of this hill to right at the base of the tower without any in between to you guys.
Ash is going to look up at the tower, and then she's going to kind of sniff the area around them to see if she can pick up smells that aren't them or nature smells. Like,
So go ahead and roll Perception Primal Urge for that.
okay, I'll remember my bonus this time.
All right. 3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Ash sniffs around the base of the tower, she starts going around towards the back. She picks up a smell that almost smells human, but not quite. And it doesn't have all the usual stink and various odors that a human scent would have. But the base underlying scent smells kind of like human.
Smells kind of like human. She relays that message back to Arlette and Ian.
I'm assuming there's a door on the tower.
There is not. Not that you can see, at least.
Is there a way into the tower?
You see, way up high towards the top of the tower is a window.
Arlette's just going to look up at the window. Just gonna look at the other two, shrug, and then call out, "Hello, is anybody here in this tower?"
So you see a head poke out and look down. It's you can't make out any real facial features from this distance because the window is quite significantly higher up than you guys are. It's quite a ways away, probably about a mile or so. And you guys can only see that much, that the head's poking out, because you guys are Guru and have enhanced senses. And the head, the figure just shouts down, "Who are you?"
I am Arlette's boy Claire. These are my companions. We're not sure where we are, nor how we got here. Could you help us out, perhaps?
Oh, of course, but you'll have to make your way up on your own.
Arlette looks at herself, being the shortest of the group, looks up at the window, lets out a very large sigh.
So how is the tower built exactly? Is it completely smooth, or is it like old medieval style?
Okay, so it is a tower made out of crystal. Now there's how a gem will have facets, so there's slight inclines and grooves and stuff on it, but it looks like it'll be very difficult to climb.
How about with city climbing?
You can try it. Spirit of the what?
Is it Spirit of the Bird? Is that the one I have? Yes, it is. Yeah.
And let me get out my copy of W20.
They shift to Lupus and I shift up. Here. It's an Octena gift. It's that one I bought when we were... I posted it in the side chat. I figure if I shift up and they shift down, I might be able to fly them up and drop them in.
You can try it.
Who wants to try?
Arlette will spend the rage to shift, or I guess just slow shift to if she can.
I'm gonna. Well, let's see. How big are you guys in Lupus? I know Ash is pretty small on the overall. Arlette's smaller though.
Yeah, I mean Arlette has the short blonde Hamid, so.
To
Right.
carry both of them in Lupus, you're going to need to be in Krynos.
I figured just do one at a time for safety purposes.
Okay.
I could try to climb up a bit to give her less.
I don't know if Hamid or Glabro would be more appropriate. Probably Glabro for flying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spend a rage and try to start climbing a bit. See how hard it actually will be.
So as you climb, make me a... Make me a Gnosis roll as you're climbing, please.
Okay. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, okay. So,
He just had time.
yes, he got 2 1s and a 2.
Yikes.
So as Ian's climbing, he makes it up probably like 2 feet up the tower, and it just suddenly, the crystal under his hands and feet goes red hot and knocks him off the tower. And he just hears this voice in his head say, "You are unworthy."
Oh boy. Well, Ash is slow shifting to Glabro, and I have to spend a Gnosis to make this gift work.
Come.
So the Gnosis will get spent, and gonna pick up Arlette.
Come.
And hold her little Lupus body close.
And you're going to try and fly up to the window?
Yep.
I need both of you to make me a Gnosis roll, please.
What's the diff?
Standard.
Yeah, let's see what my
I like rolling Gnosis.
I don't mind rolling Gnosis. It's equal to my rage.
God damn, I keep accidentally opening games when I'm trying to switch like what tab I'm in.
Or
So
success.
my taskbar. All right. So it's all Holly rolls. Oh, all right. So as you guys fly up, you feel almost like you're going through a cloud. Like you feel like the sort of that there's a little bit of weight on your skin as you fly up, and the pressure on your skin increases just a little bit, and then relaxes, and you get almost this warm feeling, like in your mind as you're flying up. And you guys do make it to the window, and there's nobody standing at the window now. But you guys can see there's a fairly nice little living room in there through the window.
She kind of looks at Arlette and holds her out so she can get into the window.
Arlette will scramble in. Then shift back to Hamid.
Okay.
And I suppose Ash will fly back down and go get Ian.
Alrighty, and I'll slow shift down.
And she will pick Ian up.
So as she's going up, Ian, I'm gonna need you to make to reroll your Gnosis.
Oh my god, another botch.
Are you shitting me?
Oh,
So as she picks you up, and flies up. You just hear this booming voice. Both of you can hear it now. That says no, and he's slapped out of your hands. It's only about 10 feet up, so you don't take any fall damage. But yeah, there's just a flash of blinding light, and Ian is knocked down out of Ash's hands.
Ash looks down at Ian and is like, wow, you really are not wanted here. Come on, we don't give up.
Okay. You can try and pick him up again. Yeah.
Yep.
So you're gonna have to make the nurse roll again at +1 duff. But I'll allow you to spend a willpower on this.
Yeah, I'll spend a willpower.
Okay.
Well, that's 2 successes with the willpower.
So as the Ash picks Ian up once more and flies up, she feels the resistance and she slows almost to a stop in the air. She struggles against the force kind of pushing down, but eventually the pressure kind of lets up, and the voice in her head just says, "Your friend vouches for you. We'll let you in this time." And then the pressure goes away and you can fly up.
Okay. So we fly up and I make sure he's able to get in.
Okay.
Before I go in.
So as all three of you enter and the little living room, it's just a circular room at the top of the tower, but it's got a little table, quite a few very comfy looking chairs, and there's a spinning wheel off in one corner, and there's nobody around, but there's a set of stairs that lead downward, and a set that lead upward. Actually, they're on opposite sides of the room.
Okay. A slow shift into Hamid, so I'm not a werewolf, part werewolf person.
Yeah, Ian will relax into human. Into Hamid.
And Ash will look at Arlette. So where are we going?
I do not know, honestly. I suppose we look for whomever.
Ash. Hello.
Hey, it's worked for me once before. I'm going to sniff the air and see if I can catch a scent.
Okay, perception primal urge.
All right.
Difficulty 7 since you're in Hamid, which is not a very good form for sniffing.
Looks like 3 successes.
All right. So, sorry. So as he sniffs, he catches a scent of baked, like nice, warm, home baked chocolate chip cookies drifting up from the stairs going downward.
Oh, there's cookies being baked downstairs.
Cookies, huh?
Sorry, what did I miss?
Ian sniffed and caught the scent of warm, like fresh home-baked chocolate.
Are they being
cookies coming
cooked
from
or are
downstairs.
they cooked already?
From the scent, you just smell like warm, gooey chocolate chip cookies.
That delightful scent. Well, I suppose if we were looking for someone and you smell baked goods, that would be the way to go. Most of the cookies are a trap.
What do you guys do?
Being on the safe side, sense worm? Question mark?
Go ahead and roll it. Difficulty is going to be standard.
2 successes?
You can't smell any worm taint in this area.
I do not smell any worm taint.
Well, that is good. Perhaps we should follow Ian's nose.
He'll shrug and lead the way.
Seems like as good a plan as any.
All right. So as you guys walk down the stairs, the stairwell itself seems to be made of the same crystal as the outside, and the stairs are not nearly as slick as you would expect being made out of crystal. And it just goes down about 100, 150 steps. You lose count somewhere around 75. Into a nice, impossibly huge kitchen. Like, it is so big that it shouldn't fit in this tower. And there's a fairly modern looking oven. There's a table set out. There's actually several tables set out, one of which looks like it has like flour on it. And there is, if I can find the picture, because I have way too many pictures saved on this phone, on this computer. To find the one I wanted. This woman standing at the oven pulling out a pan of cookies. And she turns around and looks and says, "Oh, you made it. Good.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, mademoiselle."
Hello?
Ian just waves.
She sets the cookies and says, "Why don't you sit? You must be tired from your journey."
Sure. Thank you for your hospitality.
"Oh, of course. Just don't break it." And she smiles. He doesn't like it when you do that.
Who is he?
And she kind of like taps the tower and says, "Osmarin, the tower. He doesn't particularly like it when people break hospitality within him."
Oh, I see. Fair enough. We'll see that force that was trying to keep, well, so kind of look at Ian and look back at this elfin lady.
Sorry, go ahead, finish.
That was trying to keep us out.
Ah, yes, Osmarin is my husband, and he is rather... She kind of thinks for a second for the words. He is rather opinionated. Once he makes his mind up about someone, it's very difficult to get him to change his mind.
Oh.
I'm terribly sorry to impose on you out of the blue. Where exactly are we?
She kind of tilts her head to the side and says, "Well, you're in the Summerlands, of course. I'm rather surprised that you don't know that. It's not very easy to get here."
We have a habit of stumbling into places, as it were.
Yes, we do.
Well, right now we're in probably the closest level of the Summerlands to the human world, so perhaps you guys ran into a shallowing of some sort. And she sets the big tray of cookies down. There's probably 200 cookies on this tray. And she sets it down on the table in front of you guys. She kind of looks at you guys and says, "Oh, don't be afraid to have some. It would be remiss of me not to at least invite you to have some food."
Can I make a an umbrella check to see what I know about the Summerlands?
Yes, at difficulty 8.
I'd also like to make that check if allowed.
Go ahead. And as you guys are rolling that, I'll get Lindsay introduced. If she's there. I don't know if she can respond yet, but
Oh my god.
did you botch again?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So-
I have one success.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear you. All right. Let me just get them their information really quick so I don't forget, Lindsay, and then I'll get you intro to the scene, okay?
Okay.
So, Holly and Tiger, you guys know that the Summerlands, a couple like really obscure stories, but the most you can remember is that it had something to do with fairies. Like, can't really remember much more than that. Ian. So as you're trying to think over where you heard the Summerlands, you realize that you heard it in the most unlikely of places. You heard it when you were reading a bunch of old H.P. Lovecraft novels. And you seem to remember that it's where humans go when they sleep and they dream. And that this place connects directly to the homes of several eldritch horrors. So, that is what Ian gets. All right. So, for Tova, it is nighttime in London, and Tova is sleeping in one of the safe houses that the Guru the Glasswalkers arranged after the Sept fell. And as she's sleeping, she hears someone tap on the window of the warehouse next to where she's sleeping.
Well, that's yeah. She's gonna get up and see who the fuck is tapping.
So when she looks, she sees a little owl tapping on the window with its beak.
Aw. She opens the window.
You did fade out a little at the end there, so all I heard was she's opening the window. Was there anything else at the end of that?
Nope. Just she opens it.
All right. So when she opens it, the owl looks at her and says, "Do you want to go on an adventure?"
She kind of blinks and cocks her head just a little bit, and she's like, sure.
And then it nods, it swoops in, and you don't know how, because it's a fairly tiny, it's like a little, not even a barn owl, like it's even smaller than a barn owl. It's like a little, I forget what they're called, like elf owls or something like that, but they're really tiny. She doesn't know how, but it hooks its talons like under her armpits and lifts her into the air. And everything around her goes dark, just out of the blue, as she feels herself lifted out of her bed. And then she's flying over this landscape, just super high, like over the mountains, and heading towards a crystal tower that is several miles in height. If you look off towards the left picture where the forest is, it's in that area.
Okay.
And the owl swoops towards the tower, and I need you to make a gnosis roll for me, please, as you approach the tower.
Let's see, my gnosis is 4.
And if it is easier, I can roll it for you if you can't get Discord to load up. But
oh, Discord's working fine. Discord's
Okay.
been working fine. It was just Facebook wasn't loading, and but I reset the Wi-Fi and everything seems to be fine now. So
awesome.
a fail.
Okay, so not a botch. So the owl kind of dives towards the window and tosses Tova at the window with its talons. And as it does, it like swoops up and does like a loop-de-loop. She hits where the window would be, and there's something this stops her and bounces her back, and she starts falling towards the ground. But the owl swoops in and catches her.
Yeah, so she would have screamed most likely at the impact and then the falling back. That would have scared her. So she lets out a breath of relief of being caught, but her heart is racing and she's a little scared.
So yeah,
This is crazy.
you guys inside the kitchen hear a scream from upstairs. But outside, so the owl swoops around and starts circling the tower, and it says, "You are a spirit talker, yes?"
She nods. Uh-huh.
Speak to him. Try and convince him to let you in.
Okay. She looks to what she's supposed to be speaking to.
It's circling like right. It went up to the roof of the tower and is circling the roof of the tower. The only other thing in the area is the tower itself.
Okay. She's a bit confused, but she is going to look at the tower and say, I think I'm supposed to be coming in there. Is there any way you can let me in?
This just deep resonating voice says in her head. The tower is made of crystal, by the way, which might explain the resonating effect of the voice. And it says, Can you answer a question for me first?
I can try.
And it goes, again. And it says, what play by Shakespeare do Oberon and Titania appear in? And if you do not know, you add a character, you can make an academics roll.
I should know it out of character. What is my character's academics?
Her academics is 2.
Yep, it is, and she has a scholarly specialty, and she has eidetic memory, if that comes into play.
Actually, if she has let me read her backstory really quickly. So let's say, because this would be something she'd have learned in history, like at least tangentially, that you're not going to need to roll since you have eidetic memory. The play that involved Oberon and Titania was A Midsummer's Night Dream.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I was like, I don't want to be wrong. Yeah. Oh, so she's She smiles at the question that she knows the answer to, um, and she says, "A midsummer's night's dream."
Good. At least I know you have taste. You may come in now.
She breathes a sigh of relief.
And as soon as she finishes breathing her sigh of relief, the owl nosedives.
She screams again
And then
because this is not what she expected.
and it nosedives, comes down about half a mile, flares its wings out, does the loop-de-loop. So it's heading for the window and then tosses her in the window. And she makes it in this time easy. And she is in a very nice living room that has like a spinning wheel in one corner. It's got a bunch of really comfy looking chairs. There is a stairwell leading downward and a stairwell leading upward. And there's the smell of the freshly baked chocolate chip cookies coming from the downstairs, as well as the sound of talking.
Well, she gets her bearings and she takes a couple of deep breaths, kind of shakes off the excitement, and she will follow the scent of the cookies and the talking, and the sound of the talking.
Okay, so she comes downstairs. It's about 150 steps. She loses count somewhere around 80. And she comes into a very nice kitchen that's way bigger than it should be for the size of the tower from the outside. There's a fairly modern looking oven. There's a bunch of tables, there's chairs, and you see the other players sitting at a table. There's this woman standing on the other side of the table talking with them. There's a massive plate of chocolate chip cookies right in front of her. Or I shouldn't say plate, it's more like a pan. And yeah, that's what she sees. I think she's met Ash, hasn't she?
Nope.
Ooh,
I don't
oh
know.
no.
If I don't think Ash was in her intro scene because I've only done 2 scenes. So, yeah. So she probably would have met her at some point, I'm sure, but we haven't met in a scene. So
Yeah, because you guys do see each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So she'll just kind of look at everybody and give a little bit of a wave. Hi.
Ash kind of raises an eyebrow. Hi.
Bonjour.
Tiny owl came to my window and asked me if I wanted to go on an adventure, and I ended up here.
Oh yes, that was Icarus, my son. I trust he treated you well.
Well, he made sure that I didn't die, so yeah.
She nods. Good. Come, sit down. Have a cookie. An important question. While she was out, did anyone take a cookie?
Marlette did not.
Okay. Did Ash
No,
take
no.
a cookie?
Ash is hesitant because of her past experiences with food and fae.
Good. And you said Ian didn't, Ian?
Not yet.
So yeah, she just says that to Tova. Just come, have a cookie. You're my guest.
Tova will sit down, kind of look over the cookies.
She kind of tilts her head to the side and says, does no one want chocolate chip? I suppose I can bake some raisin and oatmeal cookies, although those are a bit less popular with the children.
I'm not particularly hungry.
Nor am I, but I appreciate the offer.
Oh, are you sure? You did have an awfully long walk. I mean, you guys went right by that dragon. I'm surprised you didn't notice him. You guys are lucky you didn't wake him.
Where are
You guys, you are in the Summerlands.
kind of furrows her brow?
Ash's attention perks when she hears about the dragon.
Yes.
Dragon? What's about dragons?
No, it was, the neighbor kind of dragon. You guys walked right by him. I'm surprised you didn't notice him. It was on your walk here to the tower? She looks between Arlette and Ash and Ian.
No, I did not notice him.
To be honest, I didn't notice much when we were walking to the tower. We were just walking and then here we were.
Yes.
Sounds like you guys went through the swamp of, well, we don't really talk what it's of, but it has hallucinogenic properties. Maybe that's what you went through.
Possibly. I'm terribly sorry. I don't believe I called your name earlier.
Well, it depends on which one you'd like. You can call me Tiz.
Alright.
Yes.
And then sorry. Go ahead, Tiger.
There you go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, a tiny little owl swoops in, lands on the edge of the table, and picks up a cookie and starts nibbling at it.
Ash kind of looks at the owl.
Tova looks at the owl and smiles. Said Icarus was its name, right?
The owl says through a beak full of cookies, "That's my name, yes."
She nods. Nice to meet you, Icarus. I'm Tova.
Nice to meet you. And she half swears the owl winks at her.
She raises a brow, like, oh my. She watches him eat the cookie for a minute, like, just to see if anything happens.
Yeah, he just goes to eating the cookie. And Tiz kind of looks around at the four of you and she says, "Tell me, what date is it in the human world?"
Insert current day here.
And her face brightens, says, "Oh, so that's why the four of you were brought here.
Well,
Does this mean something?
Today is a very special day here in the Summerlands.
what day is it?
It is Oberon's birthday. He and Titania are holding a great ball at their palace, and it's tradition to bring mortal guests."
We're not exactly. I mean, I guess we are, but that's debatable if we're actually considered mortals.
Well, you age and die, so that's all that the celebration requires. And she smiles.
Fair enough, but that was ominous. What the hell?
Yeah, right? Ash just kind of straightens her back in her chair.
Oh no.
Tova furrows her brow, just like, what?
Oh, don't worry. It's nothing that sinister. That's for the Mid-Easter celebration.
Nothing that
Good.
sinister.
To know.
And you guys You could get like 5 successes on a perception empathy. You can't tell if she's joking or not.
I cannot. It's not possible.
Looks
try.
around at the other 4.
Violet's just kind of quirking an eyebrow. Right. Well, we would love to go to the ball. Unfortunately, we have many things we need to do.
Well, here's the thing, you see. The only way back to the mortal world that you're going to be able to find in a reasonable amount of time is through the palace. So, I mean, unless you happen upon another shallowing, but that's not exactly reliable. And she smiles.
Well, okay then.
And I suppose we don't have much of a choice, do we?
And she smiles and says, "Of course not. What a silly idea."
Oh,
The owl looks up from... Oh, sorry, Holly. Go ahead, finish.
she just said, "Well, I suppose we're here then."
The owl just looks up from his cookie and says, "Mom, you're scaring them. You need to tone it down a little." And she just raises an eyebrow at Icarus. I'm just being honest with them. You know we're not supposed to lie to the mortals and give them all cheery, comfy thoughts. You don't know how, but Icarus manages to sigh through a beak.
A little smile. That's funny.
And as she just looks at the girls and says, Come, I'll get you dresses. I'll make them for you. It'll be a lot of fun." She like kind of stands up and heads towards the stairs leading down. And she looks at Ian and she says, "Icarus will help you."
He looks down at the kilt that he's got on and the shirt. He goes, "What's wrong with what I'm wearing?"
"Oh no, you're supposed to show off when you go to a ball held by the king and the queen of the fairies. That's good for mortal life, but not good for Summerlands parties."
Ash just kind of looks down at her
And Ian gets a look on his face like,
pants.
fuck.
What'd you say, Holly?
I said Ash just kind of looks down at her tank top and her ripped pants and then gets this kind of look like, oh crap.
The moment she says what she did, Ian's like, oh, fuck.
So she's going to walk up to the 3 girls. She's going to loop her arms through Tova and Arlette's arms and say, "This will be a lot of fun. Come on." And starts trying to lead you get the 3 of you down the stairs.
I think it'd be more entertaining if we showed up how we are. Nobody would be expecting it.
"Oh, but..." And she kind of sighs and looks down. She says, "It would be unexpected, but you wouldn't want to make your hostess look bad in front of Oberon and Titania, would you? That would be most disappointing."
Tova shakes her head like, nope, sure don't.
Just kind of looks at them like, let's go play. Let's just play along.
Alright, fair enough.
And she smiles real brightly and just charges down the stairwell with the Tova and Arlette and presumably Ash in tow. While
Yes.
Icarus looks at Ian with one eye up and down, says, "I've got an idea. Come with me," and then flies up towards the upper stairs.
He'll follow.
All right.
With a sigh.
So we'll time skip through this section. So what Ian gets given is almost like a suit jacket that appears to be made out of living like redwood bark. It's surprisingly comfortable. He doesn't know why. And he does get given a kilt, but it's not made of like physical substance. It appears to be made out of like a cloud. And you wouldn't think looking at it that they would go together, but somehow Icarus manages to make them look super presentable together. What Arlette gets is, so when she makes them the clothes, she's literally like spinning them on her spinning wheel out of nothing. Arlette gets a straight up dress made out of a storm, like dark storm clouds. There's lightning that goes through it. It's actually pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
And she gets also given a tiara made out of like frozen lightning. That Tiz literally shapes with her bare hands into a very ornate shape, and then gives to Arlette. Tova gets so she gets like a shawl made out of mist, and then a white dress that looks almost like normal cloth until you touch it and you realize it's snow that's like holding its shape. It actually has very nice back support. You're kind of surprised as she like puts the dress on you. That has very nice back support for snow. And the snow keeps her nice and cool too. And then she also gets a tiara, almost along the lines of what like the White Witch wore in the Chronicles of Narnia movie. She gets kind of like, not quite a crown, more of a tiara like that. And then what Ash gets, Ash doesn't get a dress. She gets almost like pants and a shirt, but the shirt's made out of what appears to be this water that is like grayish water, but it doesn't look like dirty gray. It looks like it's made out of something else. And if Ash asks what it is, she's told that it's water from the river Styx. Then the pants are made out of hemmed fire, so they're fire hemmed with like just a little bit of ice for a nice contrast. And that's what everybody's wearing as you guys reconvene in the kitchen.
Ash just looks everybody over.
Arlette just looks at her dress. She's not exactly sure how to feel about it.
Ash looks comfortable.
Tova is cautiously optimistic. Like, all right, this isn't too bad.
Ian seems pretty comfortable, actually.
Oh, and as an extra gift, these are all, how would the will workers say, a part of your pattern. So if you ever need a formal dress for a fairy event, you can call them up again.
Oh,
Thank you.
Well, that's convenient. Thank you.
very much. Thank you.
She smiles and says, of course, of course. Is everybody ready to go?
I suppose so.
Suppose we are.
All right, my dear, would you take us to the ball? And she puts her hand on the tower, and you guys just hear the tower rumble. And then
Ash
the door.
was ready to brace herself at that point.
and then a door opens right where she put her hand, and you see it appears to be like a completely new landscape outside the tower. You don't see ground, you just see clouds, and then there's a walkway extending from the tower, from like the door in the tower, straight to this giant palace in front of you guys. Like, if you've ever seen The Little Mermaid, it looks kind of like that palace, like Neptune's palace, and that, like the many towers and the pure white. It's very pretty. And she starts heading that way on the walkway.
Ian will follow.
Yeah, our little follow as well.
As will Ash.
I'm assuming Tova's following.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So as you guys walk, you see a bunch of like different walkways kind of coming from different places and converging onto the walkway that you guys are on. And there's all manner of fairy creatures. You guys see what appears to be a large walking tree with a number of children. Well, not children. They're like young teenagers, like 17, 18 at the youngest, but sitting in like its branches, and they're all eating apples and tossing them back and forth. And you guys see a huge cat walk by with a number of elaborately dressed fairies on its back, you know, sipping drinks and laughing. It's kind of a crazy congregation all heading towards the palace. Do you guys say anything to any of the people as you're walking by?
Arla gives polite waves. She kind of does like the royalty wave where you just kind of wave your hand and turn it back and forth.
Gotcha.
Ash is just kind of taking everything in. Like
Tova's doing the same thing and kind of will mimic Arlette a little bit and just kind of acknowledge and politely wave at people. But she's not talking to anybody.
You guys do seem to be getting a fair amount of attention. And a few jealous looks from some of the other fairies.
Oh my.
So you guys hear a bit of muttering. If you guys want to make a perception alertness roll to try and hear some of the mutters, we can go ahead and do that.
Can I just spend whatever it is I spent for whisper catching instead?
Sure. I think it's a gnosis, but let me double check. Just because I have the book open, so we know.
I'd rather just do that instead of watch again.
Standard difficulty, yes. I swear if I get to the Shadow Lord section and it says whisper catching is in another gift section, I'm going to cry.
What the
That's
fuck?
my least favorite thing about W20. Like, I understand why, but...
Oh,
Yeah. It's a willpower.
all the
Alright.
one
It was not,
night.
it
Oh,
was not a botch. It was not a botch, thankfully, but I did not succeed.
All right.
there has been so many
Yeah,
ones
Holly took
tonight.
all the successes. Fine.
All right. So Holly got 4. Silver got none. Arlette has whisper catching. You got. Was that your roll above Ian, the one that I'm looking at, or is that an earlier roll?
Oh, that was my gnosis roll from earlier. The other
Okay.
one's at the bottom.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, right, Ian?
I got 3 successes. There's
3
5 5 technical successes and 2 ones, so 3.
All right. So Tova is too distracted by everything going on to quite focus on any of the whispers.
Nope. That's
Ian,
fair.
Ian hears a couple people go, "It's not fair that they got to come with Tiz. She's one of the most renowned magic weavers in the kingdom." You know, stuff like that. Ash with 4 successes hears that and stuff like, well, some fairly unsavory things that some of the Fae are saying about the girl's looks, and a couple of them are saying about Ian's looks too.
Ash kind of makes it a point to make it known that she can hear their catty remarks by just giving them the stink eye.
Okay. Arlette hears all of this, and she also hears, way at the edge of her whisper catching, someone just say, "Oh, they'll look lovely at the feast tonight."
So, couple things. First, the ones that were like talking shit about us, Arlette's going to give the polite yet fuck off smile that only a French Shadow Lord can give.
Yes. Okay.
Just the slightest hint of fangs, or canines, I guess, as it were.
Okay.
And then she'll turn to the others. There was mention of a feast. Be on your guard. I'd rather not end up the main course.
And the people that were making like unsavory comments, it was not like they were being catty about your guys' looks, more like they were being very, very flattering, is how I'll say it. That's the sort of looks that Ash, or like comments that Ash was hearing.
Oh, okay.
Just because I'm not sure if that like got misunderstood. So
It did.
You guys make it with the rest of the group into a giant throne room. And sitting on two thrones, up at the very top of the hall, are these two people. They do look almost techno-organic, which is kind of unusual, you would think. They're sitting on their thrones, looking at the crowd. You know, people are filing in. It's almost packed. Like there's barely standing room. And after everyone enters, like the doors swing shut with a clang, and it goes quiet as everybody looks up and the monarchs stand. And the man speaks first. I must welcome each and every one of you and your guests who have joined us here on the eve of my birthday. As is our tradition, all the mortals present shall join us in our festivities till midnight, and then be let free to re-enter the human world. I must say I am quite impressed with many of the fine guests that you brought. It seems the mortal world is not so devoid of imagination and color as our cousins would tell us. There is a feast planned tonight. I should hope that everyone is on their best behavior. And he smiles at the crowd and then says, now everyone enjoy your evening, and Titania and I will be coming by to speak with you soon. And he claps his hands, and the space sort of expands. Like where it was packed before, you have like plenty of room around you, and there's all kinds of little groups now. And there's very light music going through. There's tables like literally appearing out of nowhere with chairs. It seems like a fairly normal, like almost like wedding, like not wedding, but what's the word I'm looking for? The thing that happens after the wedding, the reception.
Yeah.
Except it seems like a fairly normal reception, except you know the servers are invisible wind creatures, and the food and like refreshments that are being passed out look decidedly more exotic. So yeah, what do you guys do?
I guess Ash might kind of wander about and check things out and maybe do some eavesdropping as she does to try to get a feel for what's supposed to be happening in this thing.
Will probably be wandering, um, making polite conversation with random people. But
Ian's just going to lean against the wall for the moment and watch.
All right, so can Ash and Arlette make me a charisma etiquette roll with 5 extra dice?
5 extra dice.
Yes.
Oh my, okay.
what's the difficulty?
Difficulty 7.
So 3 plus 5. 8, 7.
I got 3 successes.
None. Leave it to the lupus.
Okay, so they're kind of just everyone's kind of just polite to Ash. They don't really talk with her. They just kind of nod and smile and wave. Arlette gets some somewhat polite response of Faye of both genders hitting on her, and they seem almost respectful of her. Like it's kind of that weird. They're respectful, but they're also like thinking they're better than you at the same time. And after probably about 2 hours of the party going like this, everyone kind of reconverges, and you guys notice Oberon and Titania walking towards your group. Tiz is nowhere to be seen, by the way.
Oh.
Ian's going to stand a little straighter and step back towards the group.
As the king and queen approach, Arlette will give a polite curtsy to the pair of them.
Does anyone else have anything to do before they arrive?
Ash will give them a polite nod because etiquette isn't exactly her strong suit.
When they actually get close enough for it to matter much, he will give a slight bow.
Okay. Does Tova do anything? Sorry.
Yeah, she when she notices them coming, she gives a very big smile, stands up straighter, and gives a very respectful nod to them.
All right. Oberon, Titania stands a little ways back as Oberon approaches. He looks at the group of you and he says, "It is an honor to have you join us. May I ask each one of you a question?" And he's looking at everyone for a response. Sorry.
Tova nods and says, "Of course."
Yes.
Nod his head.
Do you mean another question in addition to the one you just asked?
Of course. I see you are already adapting to our ways.
Let me quick learner. But by all means.
And he nods and he steps towards Ash first and he says, "What made you decide to leave your forests and endure the human world?" And he's looking straight into her eyes as he says this, very deeply.
She raises an eyebrow and she says, she pretty much puts it as simply as possible. Well, there's a war to fight. And where there's a war to fight, I go and help.
So you would say you are a soldier, yes?
Yes.
And you have Something to fight for, then.
Of course.
Tell me, what does one of the changing folk fight for?
Well, we all fight for Mother Gaia.
And he smiles and he says, "It is heartening to see the love of a child towards their mother, even though she may be dead." And he smiles and moves on. He moves on.
Ash visibly does not like that response, but she doesn't say anything.
He moves on to Ian. And he looks Ian up and down for a minute. Then he says, "You have a strong sense of your identity, your country, I feel. Tell me, why do you take so strongly after your heritage? Why do you display it such?"
Family, it's blood. It's who I am.
So you believe that one's personality, one's fate is determined by blood, then?
To some degree.
And do you believe that blood is the most important thing?
Second to one other thing.
And what would that be? That is
Honor.
more important. Sorry.
His
Yes.
response is just it's not intending to interrupt. It's just a
Yeah, I gotcha. He nods and he says, "I see." Then he moves on to Tova. And he looks Tova up and down for probably a good minute and a half before he says anything. And he says, "You..." He seems to be thinking very carefully as he's looking her over. He says, "You are a spirit talker in the tribe of warriors, in the tribe of the greatest heroes of the nation. Do you not resent that your kin have a much easier life, to die in glorious battle and have their names remembered, whereas you, the poor, quiet spirit talker, will most likely be forgotten? For your glories are not in war, but in the mind."
No, I don't resent it. My role is important. And even though my tales won't be sung as often as those that do the majority of the fighting, we all work together. And my role, as I said, is important to communicate with the spirits and to heal those that have been wounded so they can keep fighting.
He nods and he looks over at Titania. She seems to be watching Tova, with like her head tilted very slightly to the side. And she says, "You are all dedicated to this war. Don't you think that sometimes..." Sorry, I had to burp out of character. "Don't you think that sometimes it might be better to just move on, to find a new home to protect?"
No. There really is no other home. Unless we live in the spirit world, but that's not ideal. We need to try to save the home that we have. I won't abandon my home.
She nods, apparently satisfied. And Oberon moves. He half smiles to Tova and moves on to Arlette. And when he sees Arlette, all 5 sassy feet of Arlette in her storm clothing, his eyebrows just go up slightly, and he says, You have been thrust into a position of leadership, one that your people, he thinks for the words, your auspice, as they call it, are not often called to fulfill. How does that make you feel?
She'll think for a second and say, it was a group decision. If my friends, if my comrades feel that I am the most most fit for the role, then I'll gladly accept it. And I feel honored that they would follow behind me so closely.
You've seen much, including things that few other mortals have seen. Would you like a piece of advice?
She'll think on that one too, because fucking fairies, man.
Right.
If you'll consider it, you'll consider everything square in exchange for the information that's we're giving you.
He nods and he says, consider it a gift. It is traditional for the one whose birthday it is to give gifts as well in our land. And he looks kind of up for a minute as he seems to think, and he looks back to Arlette and he says, the ones you found, the ones you released, they are not all your enemies. There are some whom you can trust. You can find them in the churches.
She'll nod. Thank you for your wonderful gift, Your Majesty.
And he smiles and he says, I thank you all for your time, but I must move on. There are many guests to greet in so little time. And Oberon and Titania move on. Everybody make me a... I need to look at a sheet really quickly so I can see what roll I want this to be. Everybody make me a Wits Enigmas roll.
Does my wits, spec, and snappy retorts count?
Unfortunately, not in this case.
Damn it.
How about cunning?
That's like right on the edge of it might apply. Let me find a coin to flip.
Is it standard difficulty, Joey?
It is standard difficulty. Ian, we'll go with yes. Because
Holy shit!
Nice.
did you make up for the botches?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
How's 10 successes?
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Good. Yeah.
They were all waiting for you, buddy. That's what it was.
Yeah,
We got
the rest of us only got 3. So
all right. So with 3 successes, everyone except Ian notices that Oberon and Titania aren't speaking to every guest. They appear to be only speaking to the mortals. Ian, with 10 successes, he notices that, from the questions that they were asked and all the questions that he can hear, like Oberon and Titania asking of the people nearby, they're all personal questions. Like nothing about like the human world. It's all about how the people feel. And he knows that one of the main ways fairies cast magic is by knowing something about the person. So that could be a cunning way that they're gathering information about the people, but he doesn't know that for certain. He also notices that Titania rarely speaks, and she only speaks to like one person every couple of groups as he's watching. It was rather unusual that she spoke to 2 of you in the same group. So that is what Ian gets.
Okay.
Hmm.
You know, he's going to be nice. He will share that information.
Huh.
Alright. Definitely something to think. We
Very
should try and focus on getting out of here, though.
I second that a lot.
So Oberon and Titania, after about an hour of moving around through the crowd and talking, go back up to their thrones. And Titania just claps her hands, and food starts appearing at the plates. And it is feast time. Does anyone eat any of the food or drink any of the drinks? I need to know.
Fuck no.
Oh,
No.
Actually, here's what I need. I need a willpower roll from everyone because this food is enchanted.
Fair.
Okay. As
What's
soon
the
as
difficulty?
All right, so this is going to be an extended willpower roll. Standard difficulty. Make 3 rolls. So everyone make 3 rolls and give me your total number of successes.
Okay, as soon as my computer screen comes out of its funk and I can get to Discord.
Because this feast lasts straight up for 3 hours, and there's enchanted food. You guys are going to get hungry.
is it
Right.
diff 6?
Yep, diff 6.
Okay. My whopping 8 willpower.
Hey, I only have 5.
You said 3 rolls?
3 rolls, yes.
I got a total of 8.
All right.
Wow.
I got a total of 6.
All right.
And I got a total of 5.
Okay, let's
Okay.
see. My other one go. Oh.
There you got 1 more roll.
I do? I thought I made 3.
I only see 2.
Oh no. It's up higher, that's why it was above Ian's.
I got you. Okay.
11.
So you have 6. All right. So everybody manages to resist eating or drinking any of the food. It's very difficult. Tova comes the closest with 5 successes. She comes the closest to taking a bite, but at the last moment, she kind of just holds herself back. Ash is so focused on getting out of here, she doesn't even realize there's food around.
Crazy for a lupus.
Yeah.
Right.
So after the feast ends, everyone, you noticed a lot of other people a lot of the other mortals were eating the food. Do you guys attempt to stop any of them from eating the food?
Arlette will try.
Yeah. Ash will too.
Right, so if you're going to try to stop them eating the food, make a charisma and expression roll. Difficulty 9.
May I activate persuasion?
Yes, you may.
I would
To lower
also
to
like to
difficulty 8. Yes, go ahead.
Really?
Yes.
Ian's not, but he's going to watch the effect and the effect of them trying to stop carefully.
Right, let me look, because I believe you have to make a roll for persuasion.
Different.
I do. I'm looking it up. It's charisma something, I think.
charisma subterfuge diff 7.
All right, so go ahead and roll that first. and then your
Okay.
charisma, expression, difficulty 9 or 8 if you manage to activate persuasion.
Okay, okay. You're a little lucky with me.
Holy!
5. Oh no.
So you
It's not
didn't
a
botch.
problem.
Yeah, you just don't activate persuasion. Or no, you were doing
Oh,
you were just doing
no,
the regular roll.
I'm
Oh no, yeah, you
persuasion.
did botch because it's difficulty 9.
Okay, persuasion's active.
Okay.
So
Oh, wait, was it diff 8 or diff 7?
Diff
Oh, that's
7 for the gift.
okay. Yeah, I rolled it. Okay, yeah. So I activated that, but I still failed the second roll. Okay, cool.
okay, and then it's charisma
Expression. Difficulty 8 because you
expression.
got persuasion off. Yep.
Yeah, oh, so it's diff 8 for me instead of 9. Okay.
Yes, because you got persuasion off.
Okay, this is gonna be difficult.
A botch. Can't be much worse.
Oh, I got a success.
All right. So Tova manages to convince some of the teenagers not to eat. She barely manages to. It is only the power of her gift that helps her kind of convince them not to eat. And she has to do it really stealthily. She just swing by and just whisper in their ears so the fairies don't hear. Arlette doesn't have such luck. She can't even get them to listen to her. She can't even get people to listen to her because they're so busy chowing down on this food. Ash. What Ash tries to do is she walks up to an older woman who's about to take a bite of food, rips the plate out of her hand, and tells her not to eat it. And the woman punches her.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Roll rage, please.
I was just gonna say, is that a rage roll?
That is a rage roll because you tried to help her and she attacked you.
What's the diff?
We'll go with difficulty 7.
Okay. 2 successes.
So you don't frenzy. But close.
She just clenches her fists and gives the woman the look that's fine, suffer.
And she notices several of the fae are at where around this woman are giving Ash this really amused look. She's almost like she's a puppy who's doing tricks for them, that sort of look.
The plate get knocked out of my hand.
No, it did not. She just punched you in the face.
That's it.
Yeah.
Can I just quote unquote accidentally drop the plate in one of the fae's lap that is sitting next to her? Look.
Make a Dex larceny roll for that.
Okay. Of course. Why did my screen do that again? Come on. Let me roll my roll. Come on, computer. My computer's being dumb.
Since you don't have larceny, it's, I believe, -1 dice to the roll.
No, +1 difficulty.
Yeah,
+1 difficulty. And it is just dexterity.
So it's a diff 7?
Yep.
Okay, and my dex, I believe, is
3.
Yep. Demons.
It's just looking at your sheet.
Diff 7. Okay. Here we go. Oh god.
So what happens? What happens is Ash walks by one of the fae and attempts to smoothly drop it in their lap as she walks by, but instead she just flings her arm out and hits the fae full in the face with the plate. Holly, high or low?
Hi.
Oh no.
No.
So the Fae is this hulking red creature, probably about the size of Bosco in Krynos form.
Yikes.
No.
Yikes! That's right.
Yeah,
Who
yikes.
looks-
Holy shit.
Who looks at Ash and says, in a deep, rumbling voice, I did not expect to be proposed to tonight, but I accept.
Oh my god.
Not today.
Not today, Satan.
Oh my god, all the
He does kind of
boxes.
look like Satan, because
She literally just says, "Not today."
Is it? Do the rest of us see this happening?
yes, it's like 4 seats. It's like one table over from where you guys are sitting, eating, or not
Oh.
eating, I should say.
That's gonna say, how can we not?
Yeah. Arlette's gonna walk over and say, "Excuse me, is there an issue?"
There's no issue. She merely proposed to me, and I accepted.
I did not.
I think there may have been some confusion. Although it may be a proposal, I'm not sure exactly what happened, mind you. But whatever happened may be a proposal in your culture. It is not in ours.
Ignorance is not an excuse. In that case, I will have to propose to her in her culture to make it even.
Okay. Would you like me to tell you how you can do that?
Ash
If
just
you
gives
would.
Arlette this look like, "Oh, don't even."
He's looking at Arlette and he says, please.
Deep down in the darkest ocean, on the furthest spot away from land, in a cave at the very bottom of that ocean, there is a rock. You grit the rock. You bring it back up. You take it to the finest smith. You tell him, I need a ring. He will make you a ring. He may ask you for a favor in exchange. And then whenever you do that, you can return to my dear friend here, and she will give you an answer. And I'm going to go ahead and roll manipulation subterfuge.
Go for it.
What's my diff?
Difficulty, we'll go standard.
Okay, and I still have persuasion active. Does that work for this? Okay, persuasion is what's called. Cool. So, 5. Four successes?
All right. He nods and he says, I will return soon then, and snaps his fingers and disappears.
Oh my god.
Let's go look at Ash.
Look
We
at
should go.
Arlette. Go.
We should go.
Ash is going to very calmly walk back towards the table with where Tova and Ian are sitting, and she's going to grab Arlette by the elbow.
I was just gonna look at Tova and Ian. We should go. We should go right now.
Oh,
What happened?
He's not going to like my answer. That's all Ash says.
Tova will nod and get up. Stand up like, oh, hey, yep. It's time to go.
All right. So, how are you guys going to get out?
Ian literally asked that in character.
Oh, okay. I did not
He
hear.
said,
Yeah, how are we
how?
gonna get out? I guess
Ash is looking
fine.
for anywhere that might be a good exit or someplace that could be used as an exit.
I mean, first we should look for a way out of the room, but Tova is trying to like brainstorm how she can detect how to get the fuck out of here and back away.
Let's gonna look for Oberon and Titania.
They are sitting up at their thrones. There's a table like that materialized in front of their thrones, and they're eating.
Is there somebody who looks to be like an announcer or like a presenter or something?
There's a couple of people like Faye standing around them who appear to maybe be heralds or guards.
Okay. Arlette's going to approach the pair of them cautiously. And like she'll stop a little ways ahead of them and do a polite curtsy and wait to be addressed.
After a minute or two, Titania will look up and say, "Yes."
I apologize for interrupting your meal, but my friends and I really must go. Is there a way that we could leave, perhaps? We have very pressing engagements occurring.
She looks to Oberon and she says, "My husband and I may open portals out of here, but that is the only way to return to your native world."
Okay. I would greatly appreciate it if you could do that for myself and my friends. And as no such deed should go unrewarded, I would like to offer you some gnosis in exchange.
Roll me charisma expression.
Okay, what's the difficulty?
7, so down to standard. Persuasion.
Oh, please succeed.
Can I spend a willpower?
I will say yes.
2 successes with the willpower?
She thinks for a moment and then says, "Of course. I do hope that you can return sometime for another feast." As she waves her hand and a shimmering portal appears right in front of Arlette.
Arlette will give them each a gnosis. Yeah.
Okay. So
Tova
the way that...
notices-
Sorry.
I was just saying, Tova notices the portal open and she just kind of grabs Ash's hand and is like, "Come on, let's go."
So the way, Tiger, that the gnosis manifests, she holds out her hands and like an arc of lightning jumps from her dress into her hand and like coalesces into like an orb of pure gnosis.
Dope.
Ash just nods at Tova like, "Yes, let's go."
Let's go.
And before, like, she steps through the portal, Arlette will look at the king and queen, curtsy again, and say, "Thank you very much for your hospitality. It was a very lovely feast."
Oberon just smiles and says, "I hope you may join us again soon, Arlette Boisclair."
Perhaps we will see if it's in the cards. And then she's gonna go ahead and like, if she'll be the last one to go through the portal.
Come.
But yeah.
Stop, bow, and go, "It's been a pleasure."
They'll just nod.
Ash will give them a nod and say, "Thank you for having us."
Yes. Tova will nod and smile. "Sorry to rush off, but thank you for your hospitality." And goes through the portal with Ash.
So as you guys step through the portal, you emerge in a wooded area, and it takes you a second, and then you realize they sent you back to the ruins of the Sept of the Hunter's Dale.
Oh crap!
Oh no! Oh fuck! Ash actually says, "Oh fuck."
Danger sense. I have danger sense.
Your danger sense is not going off right now.
This place.
Wait, where did we land?
You landed in the ruins of the sept that was taken over.
Oh, fuck.
Ash is going to immediately drop to Lupus and
Ian's going to hold up his hand to caution everybody to for a moment, and lower it carefully, as in like, calm.
Anything going on spiritually?
No, there's if you peek across the umbra, there aren't even any spirits here.
Jesus. All right.
There's no immediate danger.
Do we need to roll for my cave states, Joey?
Yes. Because you were not expecting this.
Right. What's the difference?
she kind of
Shit, I just closed my book. God damn it. Give me 1 second.
looks at everybody. This isn't good, guys.
Ian does state there's no immediate danger.
That we know of.
Why are they not under mental states?
It's in derangements. It's in the appendix.
Thank you.
That is a sort of a mental state.
All right, it is a difficulty 8 willpower roll.
All right.
What is she rolling?
Her derangement.
Yeah.
She has few states.
Hey, look at that belly.
I have flashbacks. I probably should have rolled that.
Yep, go ahead and roll those too. So, Tiger, you are in a blackout state. You're not going to remember anything that happens after this, and you're kind of in like a sleepwalking state right now.
Okay.
I mean, I have slipped sideways, but
Oh, I botched my flashback roll. This is great.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god! How many botches have we had tonight?
At least 10.
This had to be my botch.
So, as Tova sees just the devastation around her, because you guys dropped like right in the middle of the ruins of the sept. Like there is a straight up smoldering cabin right in front of you that used to be the Elder's cabin. She kind of, everything kind of, you know how in like movies when they go into a vision, like everything kind of zooms out. She has that almost that sort of effect happen as one of her visions overtakes her, and she sees a massive thing that's all flesh and tentacles hovering in the air right over the burning cabin. You know, the sky is blood red. It's got its tentacles down into the sept heart itself, draining, it looks like it's draining the energy out of the sept heart. And it lifts it up into its gaping maw and devours the cairn heart. And she sees hundreds of monsters flooding the area. Even though she wasn't part of the battle, she still sees like she was there. She sees Guru dying. She sees most of the elders falling in battle. One thing she notices that's really weird though, when the Guru die, she sees like their spirits go, like she can see their spirits for some reason, and they sink into the stones instead of going on to their ancestral homelands.
Okay, well, that's good to know that at least their spirits went home.
Oh no, they didn't go home. They're stuck in the stones. Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, so yeah, everything is awful.
Everything is awful.
Tova is they notice her kind of screaming and like pointing at things and like just and kind of she's just not there. This is bad.
Ash looks at Ian and she's like, cover her mouth.
Yeah, Ian will grab her and cover her mouth.
As Tova's screaming, Ash is going to look around and she's gonna go stand by Arlette, but she's looking around to see if her screaming has drawn any attention.
Um. So you don't even. The strange thing is, you guys don't see anyone here. You don't see any movement at first, and then you see what looked like a mound of grass shift and shift again, and a huge hulking form lifts up out of the ground, and you see what looked like it might have once been a guru, but it's had its flesh torn off, and there's this burning green fire in its empty eye sockets as half melted flesh kind of drips off of it as it takes a step towards them. It's in what would be the equivalent of brains not working, in between Lupus and Garu.
Glabro.
Not Glabro.
Oh no,
Glabro?
Hispo.
Hispo, yeah.
Oh,
Hispo. It's in the equivalent form to Hispo, and it just staggers towards the group.
I am going to shift to Hispo. I'll roll for it if need be.
Yep. Go ahead and roll for it.
Stamina primal word.
And I'm it's too late. I'm dropping Tova and
Okay. So this is bad because just realized half the party's like
Um,
incapacitated.
What does Tova see?
The
Does
hell?
Tova see the same thing even though she's in a flashback?
She does, but she sees like she sees the thing, but she also sees like there's a spirit trapped in it. There's a soul trapped in this thing. And the soul that she can see trapped in it is kind of yelling and screaming at her, to begging for release. And she can see it's it appears the spirit appears to be a very old guru, almost old enough to have to undergo the rite of the Winter Wolf.
Fuck.
Robbed of their chance for a peace, not a peaceful ending, but an honorable ending.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Krynos.
Okay.
Do I need to roll for that?
Yes, unless you want to spend a rage, which I would honestly allow because of the
no!
situation.
I'm in
Lupus.
I only have 2 rage to spend, so
But you do get 1 for entering combat.
right. Okay, yeah, then I'll go ahead and spend that one. Rage shift to Krynos.
All right, let's do initiative. Even though we're going to be doing more cinematic combat, let's do initiative really quick,
Okay.
just so it's
I
easy
got-
to keep track.
So 2 from Lupus to Hispo.
You are good.
Okay.
So
That's a thing. Okay.
and Hispo now.
Dex is 4 and it's
And come on. Got my. Oh God! Wow.
Joey.
Yep.
I'm on initiative 19.
All right.
Jesus.
Wow! I have a whopping 10 initiative.
All right.
I'm a 9, so you're before me at least.
All right. So I'm gonna do me a list. So I have Ian at 19. The corpse is at 17.
Got 14.
Arlette is at 14. Ash is at 10. Tova is at 9.
Oh boy.
And at top round, is anyone spending rage?
Yeah,
Spending 3.
I'm spending.
Okay.
I would be spending a rage to activate Razor Claws. So yeah.
All right.
1
So-
and 2 for me. It's 1 and 2. 1 and 2 extraction and 1 and 2 razor claws.
I really only need to know the ones for extractions. So I have to remember to have you guys have them go at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Tiger?
So,
Arlette's currently still on her book state.
Come.
So probably not gonna be spending rage unless I can spend another, or I can try and roll willpower again to try and get out of it.
Go ahead and try.
Yeah, if otherwise I'm gonna be pretty much gonna be right. I'm protecting Arlette here because
Yep, failed.
Yeah. All right.
wait,
All right. So first action, Ian. What you doing?
I'm going to attack.
Okay.
Uh,
Go ahead and roll your attack.
I'm clawing at this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I activated Razor Claws at the beginning, so.
All right. And I assume you just scraped your claws against like the rock. Oh no, you have your thing. That's right.
Yep.
Let me find Manicam. So this, except like 4 times larger, is what you guys are fighting.
Oh,
Fuck.
That looks like a magic card.
It's D&D apparently.
Wow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. So that's +3 plus rollover. So.
Tiger, you may hate me at the end of this scene. I'm already apologizing.
Dude, it's cool. I sincerely doubt I'll actually hate you unless this takes a very wild turn all of a sudden.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of ag.
All right, let's see how many it soaks. It's gonna take 4 ag.
Sorry?
I take 4 ag automatically that it can't soak. Let's see how much it soaks with its soak dice. All right, it takes 2 more. As Ian just leaps forward in Krynos and claws a huge chunk out of this thing's left side, like the left side of its face. And that brings us to the corpse, which is going to initiate, if I can find it in the book, it's going to jaw lock him.
no.
Once I go through the ridiculous long combat section to get maneuvers.
I will be back in just a minute.
All right. Actually, it's going to make a strength brawl check first to slam into. That'll be its action this turn, to slam into Ian and knock him down. That's 6 successes. Go ahead and roll your strength brawl, Ian, to attempt to hold it back.
Strength plus brawl, okay.
And if you want to defend against this, it's going to take your rage action, because this is technically a defensive action.
Yeah, I realize.
All right. I just wanted to make sure you knew, so I wasn't like, "Hey, do this thing," and then I'm going to dick you out by you don't get your rage action out. I want to make sure you knew. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 successes.
And you are a defender, so you, as it lunges and hits you with its full weight, you manage to just barely dig your back foot in and keep it from knocking you over. But it's right in your face, and with its slavering jaws just right up like in your face.
Yeah, it gets as much of the same back from me as it shows So he basically meets it full force, like bam.
All right, Tiger, are you back? Because it is your turn next. Rip. It
Wasn't
did.
Arlette zone?
Yeah, but she can still act. She's just kind of zoned out. Like she can still act. It's just she's not exactly all there.
Back yet.
So since Tiger isn't back yet, I don't want to jump to the next person's round, action, because that always screws stuff up. But
Right.
I'm back. Arlette's currently in hot mode.
Perfect. It's your action.
Can I try and do another willpower, or?
Yep. You can go ahead.
One success. Hey.
So you managed to snap out of your fugue state, and you see Ian in Krynos and this slavering corpse are like face to face. Ian's pushing it back as it's trying to bowl him over with its weight. Yeah, that's what you see right in front of you. Tova is currently screaming in the middle of a flashback, but she's in Krynos, so Krynos screams.
Does that take my entire turn breaking out of the fugue state, or can I get an action?
I'll let you get an action in.
Okay. Sorry, guys. 1 second.
All good. We haven't done werewolf scenes in a while, so it kind of has to be a bit ham. Just a bit.
Yep.
Is there any kind of pure breed coming off this thing?
If there was, you can't tell at this point. It's completely overwhelmed by, there's no, cues from how it acts to tell you, and there's no like scent coming off of it. So the usual things you'd use to determine pure breed aren't there.
Cool.
However, you can see that the remnants of its fur are extremely gray.
Oh, son of a...
Arlette's going to yell, by the power of Grandfather Thunder, I command you to stop, and she's going to slam her hands together, and I'm going to use a thunderclap.
Hell yeah.
Which unfortunately is also going to hit my ally, but it's much easier to soak for them. Well, not soak, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I spend a gnosis. All characters within 20 feet must succeed in a willpower roll, difficulty 8 for foes, 4 for packmates, or be stunned and unable to act for 1 turn.
All right, so go ahead and roll your willpower, everybody. Difficulty 4 for you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
How do I want to do this? Because it's... I want to go searching through a bunch of books, but I know there's like... Tiger, do you happen to know off the top of your head what book they discuss like zombies and vampires in? Like the stats wrong?
I have no clue, to be honest with you.
Alright, so I'm just going to roll as it has max willpower because it technically is. Instead of it automatically passing.
It might be in Book of the Worm. I don't know.
Okay, we'll just go with this. Because undead things are a little hard to intimidate.
Right.
It has a success. I presume that's all it needs is a success.
Yeah.
Okay. That takes us to Ash's action.
Well, now that Arlette is back on her feet, I'm I'm gonna try to help Ian out here, and I'm just it's trying to push him down, right? So it's kind of
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna try to throw my weight into it and knock it back.
Okay. That is going to be a strength brawl check.
Okay, my computer's doing its thing again, but let's see. I don't think primal counts for a body slam, does it?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. And what's the diff?
Gonna be standard for this, but it gets a roll.
If I ever get back to my screen,
To do a thing.
because I have 11 dice, I know that. Yay, Hispo!
Hell yeah.
Come on. Come on, screen. There we go. Okay. Standard. So 4 successes.
All right. It barely somehow manages to hold it. She slams into it and pushes back against her. And that takes us to Tova.
Well, Tova's action, I think, is basically being spent sharpening her claws for razor claws. But can I make a willpower roll so that I'm not to see if I can come out of this flashback a little bit?
Go for it.
No more screaming.
I don't know what the difficulty would be, but I probably got 1, maybe 2 successes.
So I'm gonna say it was difficulty 7, so you have 2 successes. So you're still getting snippets of those. You're not completely out, but you're able to get it mostly under control where you can focus. All right. So that takes us to Ash's rage actions. This is your first one.
All right. Now that I'm right here, I guess I'm gonna roll with some claws so I can get my 3. 9 plus primal. I have 4 to hit.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage because it can't dodge.
Dice. Two, 3, 6.
How much?
Damage. 6.
All right, so let's see how much you can soak. So this 1, 2, so it takes 1, 2, 4. Takes 1 more ag, and onto your second rage action.
I'm just gonna keep tearing into this thing.
All right.
Claws. I don't really want to. Plus, technically, I have. Let's see. Yeah, it would be 5.
All right, go ahead, roll damage. I can't dodge.
Because my 10 counts for primal. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's 6 successes, even with that. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So 5, roll over.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Wow, I have a whopping 3 damage.
All right, let's see how much it takes. 1. Last rage action.
Here we go. Keeping going with Nicolas.
Or to hit. So 3, roll over.
10. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, so it's going to take 1 ag that it can't soak. And let's see if we can soak the other 6. It does not. So what you see is Ash rammed into it with her shoulder and then reared back and started slashing through it with her claws in this mad frenzy. She tears it literally in half. And as the spine breaks, the light in its eyes goes out, and this horrible wail comes out of the corpse. And everybody's gonna get a thing on their sheets at the end of the scene.
Oh, goody.
I swear to God, if I have double fugue steaks.
No.
Sorry.
Well,
my God.
Tiger,
Actually,
you did say you're going to hate him at the end of this.
Actually, you guys are going to be getting a lot of stuff on your sheets. So,
Okay.
so it is dead.
Is that? I wonder if that's good or bad.
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 Both.
Ash kind of just immediately starts looking around after this thing has fallen to see if its shriek has called anything else forward.
You don't know, but everybody
Ian
hears
actually goes. Oh, sorry. Ian goes back to back with literally his back touches Ash's, so they're watching each other's backs literally.
So you guys hear a little whisper in the back of your head. This angry whisper. Where am I?
Does this voice sound familiar?
Nope.
You heard that too?
Well,
Ash says, who are you? And she hears the voice in her head, like in her head, she says, who are you?
There's just a growl in response. And you hear the sounds of shuffling coming from the woods.
Okay.
Get ready.
And you see dozens of corpses start lifting up out of the ground. And as literally the body of every guru who died in the battle for the Sept raises up and starts shuffling towards you. There's a good 100 corpses coming at you guys.
should run.
Yeah, well, let's send a yell for everybody to scatter. and spend the race to shift to lupus and run for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna shift to breed form and take my alpha's word for it because this is a battle we obviously can't win with the 4 of us and 100 corpses.
As you guys start to run, you hear a voice. Each of you hears a voice screaming in your head. What are you doing? Don't you run from a fight, you cowards! And Tova in specific hears at the end of that, you're a get. Get in there and fight.
Tova says back, but there's so many of them. We can't win.
Then you will die gloriously in battle.
How many times she's heard that?
Retreat's the better part of valor. We will
then the
live to
voice
fight
goes
another
silent.
day.
So I presume everyone's running fuck to get out of there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so as you guys scatter and run, you notice as soon as you hit the edge of what would be like the bond of the sept, the corpses stop like following you guys, and they seem to like wander in circles for a bit before collapsing. Are you guys gonna stop there, or are you gonna keep running?
I would stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tova in particular will stop and kind of look back at them.
Let's see.
What's going on?
Oh, let's gonna try and regroup with everybody since we all just kind of scattered.
You guys can do that.
Did
pretty
she
easily.
come out of her flashback, by the way?
At this point, she has, yes.
Okay.
Is there something I can roll to try to figure out what the heck is going on here?
Not perception, intelligence, occult, difficulty 9.
The only lore I have is BSD lore. That would probably apply here, but
Actually, yeah, go ahead and roll BSD lore, difficulty 7.
Yeah, I've had enough of botches coming from my 3 dice roll. I'm leaving that one alone.
We've had at least 12 botches this scene. It's great.
Like I said, if this scene isn't called
4
botch,
dice here, so that's better than what I would have had at the other diff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I got 1 success on the occult one.
All right.
Oh, I'll roll the occult one.
2 successes on the BSD lore.
Okay. So we got 1, we got 2. All right. So
Success.
Tova and Arlette can kind of recall that there is more. The mortals do have some kind of tradition of necromancy, usually by either trapping the spirit of a dead person inside a body or just reanimating the body. This would seem to be the former case. While Ash seems to recall, while she was traveling with Elizabeth, she heard tell of a rank 6 gift of the BSDs. This was during like a mission they went on. The Black Spiral Dancers have a legendary gift that can do this sort of thing, and that only 1 or 2 of their number at any time have ever possessed this gift.
Oh.
And the only one thought to have it at this time is Zizek.
Oh, and Ash cringes thinking about this. And she does relay this information. To everyone.
I'm guessing that's probably who was in our heads.
I mean, the voice in your heads was definitely male.
He doesn't know Zizek if I was a male or a female, so...
Ah, okay. I thought that was on out of character level.
No, that was not the voice.
Out
in
of
her head.
character. Out of character. I don't know if it's male or female. So
She said, no, this voice was male.
so maybe it was the other one. You're just saying one or two of them have them at any one time.
Oh, this is not good. Just because the voice in our head was male, it doesn't mean that she's not responsible for this gift. But you're right; it could be the other person.
Might I suggest, if there is a BSD of that strength here, we might want a GTFO and not discuss this here.
Wait, back to the safe house.
All right.
This might be something worth mentioning to the elders.
So you guys are running back to the, making your way back to the safe house. All right. So you guys make it back there uneventfully.
No,
Are there any elders
Toga did
present?
relax back to pop.
I did hear you, Lindsay, just to make sure you know.
Cool.
So, why can I not edit? Oh, I see what I'm doing. So, for to answer Ash's question, there are no elders at this particular safe house. There's only like 2 elders that survived. And plus the one Fiona who arrived recently, but you guys haven't heard anything from her in a long time.
Well, Ash, like, she's pretty much like, yeah, we need to discuss this with an elder. This is kind of beyond our scope, but probably need to be cleansed after being in there.
What's the rules for cleansing, or are you going to make us do rules?
I'm not going to make you guys roll for a cleansing.
I missed that, sorry.
I'm not going to make you guys roll for a cleansing.
Then Ian will go around and do the cleansing. As it's one of his 3.
All right. So what do you guys do? You guys are home free at this point.
Well, Ian's going to go check on Ash to make sure she's good.
No, Ash is good. She's just realizing that this is even worse than I thought it was. Like the last time she saw this place, it was bad, but now it's way worse.
I hear you.
She's still trying to figure out who the big bad wolf corpse was.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to do for the scenes? Because it is actually kind of late here.
Nope.
I'm good.
It's almost
cool.
3 a.m. where I'm at.
All right. So we end our scene in the werewolf safe house in London. It has been a very eventful night in Chaos in London. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And remember, when you go to fairy balls, just take you up on it.